Welcome to Blowing Solutions Wide Open, where we're talking about all things spiritual, as well as creating new systems in the area of healthcare, finance, government, education, new environmental practices, and anything that helps the planet or helps humanity. My name is Addie Halkin. If you think that you have ideas or things to share in any of those areas, please feel free to email me at blowingsolutionswideopen@gmail.com, or you can type the word guest in the comment section of this video, and I'd be happy to get back with you and potentially have you come on here, share with people what you know. Also, please like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more content, or you have an interest in getting alternative information out to more people. So today I have a really special guest. His name is Derrick Ivey, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. He does a lot of things, and I think he'd be the best to tell you what he does. So thank you for joining me, Derrick. What is it that you do? What's your passion? Go for it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on today, Addie. I really appreciate being a part of this and I love your mission. So,
You're part of
yeah,
it.
my name is Derrick Ivey and I'm a board certified clinical hypnotherapist. I am a researcher, instructor, and intuitive healer. So, I do a lot of things. I teach a quantum hypnotherapy training. I do sobriety programs to help people get sober and create energy healing lifestyles. And then I also help spiritual business owners get their messaging and message out to the world and help them energetically with that also. So yeah, I kind of everything I do, I've found like it's found me. Like it's I never woke up one day and was like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that or it's all just kind of fallen into my own energy field.
That's how you know it's like kind of from source when you don't go searching for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I know that I have some questions. I You have something called the QSM. I think you probably just mentioned it. Will you
Yeah.
explain that a little bit more as far as it's some kind of development program that you do?
Absolutely. Yeah, so QSM, that's the 6 month quantum hypnotherapy training program. So back in 2022, that's when I first started building this program because I was doing these sessions and they're very, very deep soul journey sessions. And I had a lot of clients that were holistic practitioners. One of them was a social worker. And people started asking me, like, can you teach me how to do that? Because they were having such huge breakthroughs and like their whole life was changing, like unrecognizable from where they were before. And so then, yeah, I started teaching one on one, and then it just kind of kept growing. And now it's a 150-hour training that really has the power to shift someone's full reality as a healer because it helps you deeply heal yourself and then help other people heal and then share that with the planet in your own unique way. So, really, what it does is it allows you to let your unique harmonic signature shine while using your creativity to help other people heal. So, it really has, there's a lot of processes and frameworks, but then it also has that room for individual expression as well.
So I know a little bit about the whole quantum thing, but can you explain that a little bit deeper as far as like how that
Hmm.
ties into that training?
Yeah, definitely. So, quantum, like in the way that I use that term is like, think about the past timelines, the future timelines, what we're on right now. And like a timeline is just, it's a possibility. So like if you were on the timeline of healing a medical condition, then your highest timeline would be yourself fully healed and on the other side of that. So, what this basically everything in the program is a different pathway to finding the answers that your soul needs to find to help you in this moment. But sometimes we go into the past, sometimes we go and get information from the future or different aspects of yourself. Like, if you have one part of yourself that wants one thing and then the other part of you wants something different and they're not agreeing and then you're not moving forward, it really helps to reconcile all of that. Um, but yeah, it's just a very like limitless program, and that's where the term quantum comes from. Like, we do past life regression, soul retrieval. um so past life regression, that's going back to a past lifetime to learn those lessons and integrate them into your experience now. Soul retrieval is retrieving back an aspect of your soul that was fractured off, like, say, in an earlier time of trauma, or, when like you made a decision about yourself and about life that might have helped protect you at an earlier age, but then now it's not helping, it might be in the way. So yeah, it's just, we have all of these different ways of working with energy. And like, what's really my purpose is to bridge that gap between, like, a lot of energy healers, they don't have the type of skills that really help them make a deep transformation for people. And then it's like you know, they either think it's because they're not good enough, or they aren't a good enough healer or whatever, and that's just not true. So I help them get that knowledge and confidence, and a lot of the skills they learn are what a traditional therapist would use, and we use those kind of principles and apply them to energy and hypnotherapy to really be a real support and impact for people, because the world needs so much healing and change. And so, yeah, I really felt like that was my place to help people, is like get more healers out there that were really skilled in helping people shift how they're viewing their life and what's possible for them.
That's awesome. That's amazing because there's so many people doing the healing work, but there's not a ton of, healers helping healers. So that's incredible that you
Right.
awesome. Yeah. Um, on your
Thank you.
web, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. On your website though, I saw that you mentioned that you took a leap of faith and you left a corporate medical job in, what was that, 2012 or something like that? Or some, I don't know if you mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because for me, the medical industry is it's a little bit of a hot button. I know it has its place, but I'd love to
Oh, yeah.
be on that.
Yep. And yeah, I feel like that will help a lot of people to hear my experience. So I wasn't, like, my whole life I was in these jobs that, like, I just hated them. I couldn't stand going to work. I felt vibrationally allergic to fitting myself in a box and, like, trying to play the game. And I did medical billing for a radiology practice that, you know, like, every single day, I felt like I was part of the problem. and not part of the solution, because I was seeing like so many people just so sick, like, and getting sicker. Like I would do all their bills and I would see the same person like getting even sicker over a span of months just by the charges that were being put in and everything. And yeah, it just didn't sit well with me. And my supervisor there was, or the supervisor of the billing, also just the personality really was hard to deal with. And that, I think, sped things up a bit because it was so out of alignment for me that my soul was just screaming at me like, get out of here, like this is not what you're meant to do. Like it's like at one point my brain just didn't even work. Like, it just, there's a disconnect there. And like I just sat at my desk the whole day and didn't even do anything, like for many days. And I wanted to do something, but it was like I was just frozen. Like I felt so, I don't know, it's just not a good feeling. And so, and then my own struggles with substance use disorder and getting myself out of that through this type of healing work really showed me the power of it. And like I just knew, like, I have to be doing this, like this is what I'm meant to do. It was just like that was a stronger force than trying to keep myself at that job for security and safety, which was kind of a limiting belief I see later. Like, I didn't really need that job. The universe is full of ways to make money and support yourself. But at the time, I did feel almost trapped there for so long. So I know a lot of people feel similar things as they're figuring out their own gifts and like where that fits on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I think there's like a whole bunch of things that you just said that a whole bunch of people, including myself, can really relate with. One of the
Hmm.
things that you just said is that it was like the worse it got, the better it actually was for you, kind of a thing. Like it's you said,
Yeah.
fed you up, and I think that's such a valuable insight to talk to people about, so that it soothes people when they're in like the roughest spots.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Like, I remember when I was at that job, I was listening to a few people on YouTube, and like, really, like, that gave me so much hope.
Yep, been there. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You spoke about substance abuse. Was that around the same time as this job you're speaking of, or was that a different time in your life?
It was way before. So, yeah, like pretty much from age 16 on, I was like already an instant alcoholic and addict, and anything that made me feel good, I was all about it and taking it to the extreme. And I'm still a pretty extreme person, but I've learned how to use that to my advantage and as my superpower instead of destruction. Because yeah, it was kind of like my early 20s was really the time that my addiction was the loudest, and I was very, very caught up in it. I was drinking every single night, doing drugs all the time, anything I could do to check out and escape. And it didn't work very well, obviously. Like, that's not sustainable. And I tried everything like rehab, 12 step, working with doctors, therapists, and like nothing really worked until I went into the spiritual realm, because it was something so much deeper, that like it was a deep soul thing more so than a mind or a body thing. Like there was that deeper soul component that and it was a whole journey because I was a chronic relapser for several years. Like before I actually got it, I would put 3 or 4 weeks together, go drink again, do more drugs, go right back through those same cycles. And then it was like I started getting traction when I started seeing a therapist. Like I had a employee assistance program at my old employer at that time, and they gave me 6 free sessions with a therapist, and he so happened to be a very spiritual person, a hypnotherapist. So that was like the huge turning point was like, wow, I'm actually healing. I'm actually in a different place than I was. Like things actually are working. I actually can heal. And yeah, that really he inspired me to do what I do today. And then kind of at the same time, I was learning Buddhist meditation from someone, and that was a huge game changer. And I took that to the extreme at the time and really like was meditating every waking hour. If I wasn't working, I was meditating. And I don't really recommend that to everyone because you have to have balance, but like it literally saved my life. And it opened that door to the deeper spiritual awarenesses and this path, and then it's just kind of kept blossoming.
Right. Yeah, that's I love that because, this some people are just like, extreme, but it's actually, you're right, it can be used as a superpower because you guys tend to be really like hyper focusers as well. Um, so
Yeah,
that's a great way to, soothe anyone that like feels like that's wrong because it's not. It's just
right.
out of style, really. So that's
And
incredible. I had a question and then I just spaced it out. So I'll go to
I have,
oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, off of what you just said, like the archetype of the addict is the mystic, right? Because it's like that the addicts, they want that experience of consciousness that's different and like those higher states. And so I think for me, like when I figured that out, that's when I could start channeling it into other things because I was like, all of my potential that I didn't use got drank away. Like, you know, because it was painful not expressing myself in those creative ways or living up to my potential.
Right, right. Um, huh, yeah, sorry, every time I get a question, it seems to leave. Um, I can tell you though that I personally also had an addiction when I was like about 16 to 19. And I am like you, the only thing that worked was the spiritual stuff. That's it. And I'm
Yeah,
convinced that's all that ever would have worked. And so I think that you did a
same.
perfect job channeling yourself in the right direction finally. And it's so inspiring for those people who are struggling and have been struggling for a long time. So
Yeah,
glad to have people like you in this world.
thank you. And yeah, the other piece to that is, like if someone's watching or listening right now thinking like it was easy, like it wasn't. Like there was so much pain and like darkness that I think it's easy to for me to forget that part of it like now because my life is so much different. But I just wanted to say that like if anyone's struggling, like just know you're not alone, and like you will get through this. Like even if it feels like so hopeless, there's hope. There's always hope.
And I think, you sound like I could probably speak for you on this. When you come out the other side, it's like you don't feel the same at all. Like, when you're in that addiction, you feel stuck and dark. But just for people to know that, like, it changes big time. You couldn't even go back if you
Yeah.
tried. So
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
absolutely.
Um, I had another question for you. I guess this would be more along the lines of what you do with your work now. Um, can you tell us some of your favorite experiences that you've had with people? You don't have to like give specifics or anything, but I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
I know you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's really so many beautiful things that have happened through my work. Like it's like I always tell people, it's not me, it's like the divine working through me. But it's such a beautiful experience to be a witness of the healing. I see myself as a witness of the healing process. And, I've seen people go from like I now one of the things I help people with is helping them with addiction and getting to the other side of that and supporting them with energetic and subconscious tools. And so I think that's one of the most rewarding things that's it's happened many, many times now in my recovery and in my business. It's like there's really nothing more rewarding to me than like seeing someone starting to get like a few months under their belt without using and like feeling like wow, I'm actually doing this, like I'm healing. And like just seeing that, like because you can see their harmonic signature like when they come in for the first time, and it's usually like darker, like more contracted. And then, like, as they heal, it's like their energy and their aura gets bigger and brighter, and their life force behind their eyes starts perking up. The color comes back, and yeah, that is just like it. I just got chills because it's such a powerful experience to see, and just to know that like I helped a little bit with that is huge.
Yeah.
Like they did all the work, like the divine did all the work, but just to be a part of that is like one of the most rewarding parts of my entire life. And yeah, I've seen people go from literally suicidal to feeling, in control of their life again, going back to school, really being in their power. The other thing that is really rewarding for me is helping people like start to understand how to get momentum going with their business and like their healing skills, and like showing people like you are a healer, you are good enough to do this. Like in fact, there's souls out there waiting for you specifically to help them. So like forget how you sound on social media or what you look like on the camera or whatever. It's like it's so much deeper. And like helping people see that and then seeing what they do in their own work is another one that just really brings me so much, like, I guess it would be like satisfaction, and it's rewarding. Um, yeah, it's just so satisfying to see the fruits of the work, especially when in this line of work, we don't usually have that much of a sense of completion sometimes. Like you're kind of wondering, like, well, did that actually help? But then, like, seeing it and knowing that and being told that it's a good affirmation to stay on this path. And it does matter, it does make a huge difference for people.
Yeah, that's true. It is a little bit of a challenge in this line of work because it's not about facts and figures on paper. You have to
Yeah,
trust those feelings. And I want to ask you a little bit about maybe some of your processes that,
yeah.
again, I know you do a few different things, but if you want to just kind of give us just a little hint as to like how you would typically work with someone.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I do a lot of different types of work, but they all kind of play into each other. And so every person that I work with is so unique and individual. And yeah, I think like in this line of work, there's a lot of layers, there's a lot of different dimensions to it, so it's not always so cut and dry. But usually what I do first and foremost is just get a chance to get to know them as a person, and spend some time on a free call before I even work with anyone, just to make sure, like, okay, like they're really in it to, they're committed, they're ready to heal. Make sure that they feel comfortable in my energy, and that we're a good fit working together, because I think that's so important, is like,
Agree.
doing that before they really invest. Because yeah, it's just, I won't be the right person, maybe you would be a better person to help a certain person. It's just like think about regular healthcare professionals, or there's different energies and different people. Once I really get to know someone and like get an idea of the energy that they're going through, like what the challenges in their lives is getting really clear on the goals and the dreams that they do want to create. Because I feel like if you don't give your brain something like to work towards, then it's a lot harder, because then it reverts to chaos. So we get really clear on that. And then from there, it's really the divine takes over. And I always tell people my sessions are like a blank canvas. Like there's going to be something painted on there, but you don't know what exactly that is going to be. So until you get in there, and you never do, like most of the time people will really be surprised, like the root cause of their issue is. Like they think it's one thing, and then they go into the trance state and they're like, wow, I didn't even know that, like I had totally forgotten about that time when I was like 4 and this happened, or like I had blocked it out or whatever.
Right.
So definitely that, it, within that canvas of the session, it could go many different directions. I work with Reiki, I work with my intuition, I help people work with their intuition. Um, I do hypnotherapy, of course, like we do a lot of different journeying, but I'll take them into a really relaxed state. And then from there, I'll ask them questions to help them find their own answers, and then reframe that, re update, and then integrate that into what makes sense in their life today, now.
Excellent. Sounds like a very tailored to the person process, which is we're
Very.
learning more and more that that's the way to go. We are not cookie cutters. And so
Yep.
and you are the you're the first person besides myself that I've ever heard that does like that hour-long free um initial consultation. I think that's so important. It's kind of like, when you
I
go to
do
the
too.
store, we're not, if something doesn't work, we can return it. And I feel like it's a similar concept. Like, we're not trying to force our services on people. So
Oh
I love
no.
that. I love that you do it that way. So
It's so, yeah, it's such a divine guidance
yeah,
type of thing. Like, the souls that are ready will come to me when they're ready. And it's not something that, yeah, can be forced, or like you can't accelerate the process, or it needs to be how it wants to unfold in their time and the right way. And yeah, my business consultant like a year ago was like, "Do you really want to keep doing those free calls?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Like, because it was kind of like my business got to the point where it's like I probably could still book sessions without that, but no, like I do want to still do that because it I feel like that's part of why it has grown the way it has, is because like it gives someone a chance to really like dip their toe in before
yeah,
being like, okay, I'm gonna rip the band-aid off. Like they're more just and I think it also helps them feel safer.
yeah,
Like, because then they really know you. Then when it is time to do the heavy work and the heavy lifting, then they already know you got them, and they trust you. You trust them. And that's so important because it's like both the practitioner and the client are vulnerable.
yes,
So there's a vulnerability there, that and a balance between the two of us.
right.
So
Right. That
yeah.
really speaks to your character. And you're right, that's not just for the client, that's for you too.
Oh yeah.
You only want to work with energies that are, you know, harmonious with you. And so
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And I'm super happy you've come on here. Um, we're running a little short on time, but you are welcome back anytime. I'm sure you have plenty more to say. And I'm going to leave your information in the description notes of this podcast. If you want to say all the places people can find you, I do know you have a website. Um, feel free to say it out loud, but I'll definitely leave that as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
definitely be back for
Yeah.
sure. I loved this conversation. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, my website is dgtwellness.com. And yeah, everything's there to
Okay.
contact me. And I mean, I have Facebook, it's my name, Instagram, like, but yeah, it's all linked on my website.
Perfect.
So yeah, dgtwellness.com. And then also you can get free guides on there that I have made and all kinds of stuff. So I
Yeah, I saw
encourage
that, you
everyone.
even left your phone number on there, which is awesome. Not everybody does that.
Yeah,
So it shows you're very
yeah,
personable with people.
yeah, I love people. It's like my job is my social life.
Yeah, I could relate with that for sure. For sure. Well, anything else you want to tell us while we've got a few minutes?
um, Not really specifically, just, you know, lots of love to everyone. And like no matter what you're going through, change is the only constant in life. So remember to love yourself through that process.
And reach out if you need it.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. I
Yeah.
think
Thank
that you have
you.
go ahead.
Thank you so much, Addie, for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look forward to hearing more from you. And I think that a lot of people would benefit just by your comfort level alone. You're very comfortable to talk to, obviously trustworthy, and clearly have been through enough of your own stuff to be able to relate with people really well. So I think those make the
Thank
best
you.
healers, really.
Me too. Yeah. Every healer I know that has been through their own stuff, they just have such a huge heart to help others.
Yeah, it really builds compassion for sure. So, all right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you again. Come back, like I said, and we're just gonna,
Yeah.
end it today. And yeah, love to hear from you again. And I will make sure I put all those notes in the description. And again, if any of you guys have, anything to say about creating new systems on the planet or spirituality, I'd love to hear from you. Email me at blowingsolutionswideopen@gmail.com, and I'll catch you guys on another video. Take care.